welcome back to Six Cars, guys. Well, we're actually six trains right now. We're heading down to Importfest, which is arguably the biggest modified car show in Canada. Some of the craziest builds. It's absolutely massive. It's kind of reminiscent of like the WEFest Japan went to in Nagoya, indoors. Really good setup, but it'd be some amazing builds, some incredible cars. Can't wait to show you guys everything. So it's actually downtown, like right in the heart of downtown Toronto. So that's why we're taking the train. Don't even bother driving in downtown Toronto if you don't have to, or if you're not from here, or you don't know about how bad the traffic is. Just don't bother driving in downtown Toronto. So we're gonna hit the train. We're gonna head straight down to Importfest. So the next clip I have on here, we will be right in the show. We're gonna jump right into the cars, do a walk through the show. We're also gonna get the rollout, which is basically an event on its own. So you might end up getting 2 videos out of Importfest. Now I'm gonna flip the camera back around. We're gonna head straight into the cars before I trip down the stairs here. And of course, before I do that, remind you guys to hit subscribe, like, comment, share the magic buttons. Let's jump into Importfest. So they're doing awards over there right now. So those cars in that section, thankfully it's just a smaller section in this show. So we'll stay away from there for now and go through the rest of the show. And I mean, as you can see, there's a ton of cars, but we'll have a look at some of these S2000s. Nice fitment with the BBSs, tucked in very nicely. I do kind of like these slammed. I'm not really into the stance or like the offset and negative camber too much usually, but they do kind of suit the S2000s. I would say it's not too bad. That is a sick EF9 there though, my goodness, on the little tiny TE37s. It's either like 14 or 15 inch, very small, but black over the white is great, and just that little red striping down the side, classic old Honda look. And just to have a look at the VTEC underneath, obviously very good looking and pretty simple too. You don't need to do too much to these, but definitely has a bit of a Kanjo racer vibe to it. I really like that. Nice clean build. And that's a nice EK too. So yeah, there's obviously a ton to look at here, guys. I mean, this is like, I would say, Canada's best import show, best modified show. So there's going to be a lot to take in. I'll get whatever I can get. And then obviously we'll have the rollout too. So we'll see the cars again outside in the flesh. Here's S14. Hold on a second. RB25 swap in there. That's interesting. I don't really think I've seen an S14 with an RB25 swap before. I've seen 26s. Never a 25, so that's pretty damn interesting. And okay, interesting sound system. There's a bit of everything here, to be honest. All different kinds of mods. You got, look at this wide body Lexuses. Let's see what it's done to this 370 back here. Oh my goodness, work VS wheels. Have a look at the sound system. Oh man, air ride, obviously. The titanium tips, wow. Interesting build. That's a very clean Mark IV Supra over there. Obviously not as much going on, but again, you don't really need to do too much to have a really good looking car. That's an awesome looking Mark IV Supra. Okay, Rocket Bunny 350Z convertible, but have a look at this one. That's kind of looks like the Veil side, I want to say, the front bumper, but underneath it's got the big Stillin supercharger. The wheel choice is quite interesting. The whole car is very interesting. Have a look at the wing. You can see the mounts at the bottom there. It looks like the Japanese rising sun, so obviously some kind of custom work. He's got a matching go-kart beside it too. Blue Vegas, anybody who raced 4-strokes knows all about those. Interesting. I've never seen a car roll into a show here with a matching go-kart before. The bridge seats, the gauges on there, but that's this wing is something I've never ever seen before. That's a pretty wild custom job there. He's even bolted into the actual wing itself. TMA Co, I guess that's a company, but wow, interesting. This E46, now it is a wide body, obviously. I do believe this has been LS swapped as well, which is already pretty nuts. But what's really interesting about this particular car is not even really what's under the hood, but just the interior. Now, obviously under the hood is pretty crazy, don't get me wrong, but have a look at these seats. I have never seen carbon fiber buckets like this in any car ever. Look at how tiny they are. So you have to be extremely skinny. Thankfully I am, so I could fit in these things if I really wanted to, but that is pretty ridiculous looking. The short shifter is really nice. I do like that handbrake as well, but there's a lot going on in the interior. That's a big part of the mods on this car. I think it was at SEMA as well that someone did point out to me, and it's pretty easy to see why, because something like that where you do so much work to the interior, that's where you display it at a big show like SEMA. And the wide body looks pretty darn good in this too. Again, it's not super wide, it's not over the top, it's just really good looking. Saw that E46 is an E92. This is how you do it at a show, guys. you want to show everything that is underneath the car and show the exhaust, you get the mirror to show off your titanium setup. That is pretty damn cool. And obviously he's raised it on some jack stands, I believe it is too. Wow, look at the drums of the wheels, carbon fiber. I think we better get a look at this interior. Wow, that's interesting. Reclining bucket seats, yellow roll cage, so obviously the back has been totally gutted out. Looks like it's all carbon fiber back there as well. And even under the hood, again, all carbon fiber. This guy went all out. If you guys want to get a better look at these wheels too, wow. That's a super clean Mark IV. Again, I've only really shown Mark IVs that haven't had a ton of work done to them, which is like a pretty contrasting effect to a lot of the cars we've seen so far at this show, where they just are over the top of the modifications. The Mark IVs we've seen so far are pretty understated, I would say. Just TE37s on this one. I believe these side blades are Riddicks, I want to say, so not a full Riddicks kit, but these side blades look really, really good. I really like those. Now back to the crazy over-the-top stuff. This wide body on, I don't even know at this point if it's a BRZ or an 86 or whatnot, because it's so heavily modified. That is extremely wide and extremely aggressive. That might be like Rocket Bunny version 3 or 4. I don't even want to try guessing with that one. There's a lot more Supras back here, and it looks like there's a nice RX-7 and a DC2 back there, so we'll check out this aisle. But there is a huge crowds of people walking through here, so we'll see what we can get. Okay, so the FD, this one we did see back at Driven last month, so I won't go too in-depth on this one. It's a crazy build, obviously, as you can see. A ton of work done to it. Again, the 5-spoke Workmeister wheels. Again, that's a very, very popular option, so won't go too much more into the FD because we've seen that car already on the channel. But the Evo beside it is nice, and I don't recall seeing this one before. And what's really interesting about it, obviously you can already see everything at the front is fully carbon fiber. So the hood, the front bumper, even these aftermarket canards have been put on also carbon fiber. Yes, you can cue the memes, carbon fiber, carbon fiber, carbon fiber. Even the Voltex wing back here, again, carbon fiber. And check this out, we have a Z3 back here. I didn't even see this earlier, just hiding behind the Evo 9. That is crazy. You do not see these modified very often. So to actually see one here at Importfest is pretty damn crazy. And the flip paint, I gotta say, is a really nice touch. I think the wheels suit it pretty nicely as well. And look at that. That Civic back there. Look at the giant Pikachu in the back. I gotta give a quick shout out to that, because why not? Have a look back there. Even, okay, that's crazier than I thought actually. There's even the Pikachu slide-on shoes and a wooden trunk to support the air ride suspension. That's pretty interesting. Pikachu's on the side as well. The craziness just never ends here at Importfest, honestly. I mean, even turn around here, we've got the Subaru Sandbar, another car we've seen on the channel. So again, won't go into too much detail on it, but give it another quick little shout out because it is so damn cool. The work equips are a really nice touch and suit that K-Truck really nicely. Even the small wing back here, the duckbill, is really cool. It looks like it's fully adjustable too. If you want to get really crazy and get on the track with your Subaru Sandbar, if you want to do that. Let's see what's going on under the hood of that S2000. So we get the S2000 here. It looks like the Amuse front bumper with a massive splitter on it. The gold heat wrap is a nice touch, looks super aggressive, and kind of has a bit of a McLaren F1 effect to it. But that's always nice to see. The interesting thing that I saw here, though, is side exit exhaust on an S2000. That's interesting. I would like to hear a little bit more about that, or why he chose to do that. But it's definitely pretty damn aggressive, so I can only imagine it's putting out a lot of power. And again, more Mark IV Supras back here. We've seen plenty of these on the channel before, and even just at the show as well. And once again, not too much done to them. They're all just super, super clean. So I'll dedicate this to clean built Mark IV Supras, because everything we've seen so far looks pretty damn nice and understated, and really just keep this classic iconic shape with the OG wing on the back of it. That's really all you need to do. Except this one that he's checking under the trunk of right now does have some drag tires on the back, so we can imagine that there's a lot going on under the hood, putting out a lot of power. Just point out the fronts of the Supras very quickly, because they all do look very, very nice. Massive, massive turbo sticking out of the front of the green one here. I didn't even realize the side badge here at first as well. Limited edition 15th anniversary Supra. That is pretty damn cool, I gotta say. And obviously just a front leg at this one. There's a ton going on under the hoods of these things. I pointed out that they're pretty understated from the outside, not like too many crazy mods or anything, but obviously, as you can see, way more going on under the hood. So this is more of a function over form definitely with these builds here with the Supras, but all very good looking. And I have to show you guys the Ferrari again. Even though we've seen that car on the channel before, the NSX is quite special. There we go, guys. The NSX, known as Dirty Dave on Instagram, or the Ferrari, whichever you'd like to call it. It's just a super clean build. There's a reason why it's famous, obviously. Again, it's not like a bolt-on wide body or anything like that, but it's all very, very clean looking fender lines, and everything flows with the original design of the car. That's what I like best about it. And the red on these sort of, I guess you could say, like whitish beige seats too, is an incredible look to it. And the rear wing obviously suits it so damn well. And just everything about this car is just done perfectly, I would say. It's just sitting very pretty, and there's not much else you can really say about it, guys. Just have a look at it from the back too. It's just such a good angle, and obviously the NSX is a car that has just aged so well with time, and is going to continue to age like a fine wine. But look at that cut rear bumper too, with that massive rear diffuser under it. That is so damn cool. This FD I know we've seen before, but I have to show it again just for anybody who didn't see previous videos. This is a full TCP Magic kit on the FD3S. It's absolutely insane. So between TCP Magic and then there's Pan Speed and Artemisia, there are so many cool aggressive kits that you can get for the FD, but this one has to be one of the coolest. And the yellow recars are such a nice touch just to match the rest of the car. But all of the bodywork on this, obviously carbon fiber, and if you're going to go all out like this, it better be carbon fiber, even the Voltex rear wing as well. But just have a look at the rear diffuser too. Everything's cut at the back. Again, just a massive exhaust. You can see like full titanium back there too. That is just so crazy. And what's nice about this is, yes, it is a wide body. It sticks out pretty far, but it's not like super aggressive. And honestly, it flows with the natural body lines of the car really well too. Just anywhere you can get a piece of carbon fiber or just an extra air inlet, it's pretty much been found on this car. It's pretty ridiculous looking, but it's very nice. The S13 is really nice too. No Good Racing, nice touch. We've seen plenty of those kinds of builds back in Japan, especially at Daikaku. That's a very clean looking S13. Another nice 370Z. It's cool to see a lot of these actually around. 5-spoke Workmeisters are always a nice touch. Really interesting looking. I don't know if that's carbon fiber or not, but interesting design to it. And we have a convertible 370Z as well. Again, 5-spoke Workmeisters. Those are incredibly popular, almost as popular as the TE37 in this world. Nice looking Supra back there. I do see a wide body Challenger that I want to check out because that looks pretty nuts. Okay, yeah, it's very, very wide. It does have a Hellcat badge on the front grille. I don't, okay, actually, yes, it is a Hellcat. I was gonna say that's the best way to check. See if the front headlight, or the one closest to the center, is a small intake, which it is. So yeah, it is a genuine Hellcat, and it's gone completely wide body. So I'm not really sure how much of the 700 horsepower you can still use when the car is that wide and that low to the ground, but to each their own. It's pretty interesting to say the least. Wild looking wrap on the Audi with all of the LV stickers on it. This E46 M3 we've seen quite a bit. I think this is the old marble M3. Someone can correct me if I am wrong, but it does go through a lot of wrap changes, and it's pretty damn interesting looking. The HREs are a really nice touch that actually suit the car very nicely, I think, especially with the color too. Okay, a Nissan Sentra or Versa with, okay, it is a Sentra with Lamborghini doors. That's interesting. It's one of the most late 90s, early 2000s builds you will find at any show, really. A Mazda MX-3, which is incredibly rare on its own, but to have it in this styling, like it just came out of Need for Speed Underground, is pretty damn incredible. Everything here is like a time capsule. Even just the screen in the center looks period correct back to the early 2000s. The carbon fiber sunroof is a pretty interesting touch, but the fact that these little humps behind the rear window don't even really attach to anything is pretty damn funny. There's no windshield back there. I don't know if you can maybe pop that in afterwards or not, but that is a pretty wild looking build, guys, I gotta say, especially in 2024. This is your baddest Datsun of the show, and that's what the trophy on top is marking. And I can't really blame them for this selection. It's pretty damn cool. I just love the classic styling of the wide body on this, the more JDM headlights, or JDM, sorry, side mirrors at the front. And yeah, I think the green is really nice. Honestly, I'm not even too big on window slits usually, but I think it just suits this car in particular and this body style really, really well. Even the duckbill is really nice on this car. honestly, it's just a very clean, and it's sort of like a subtle wide body. It's the best way I can put it. It's not too over the top, it's not too crazy, but it looks really nice, and you don't really see too many in this sort of lime green color either, so that's really nice. I think we've seen this Marlboro Mercedes around before, obviously just dumped on air and extremely low, and how can you go wrong with the Marlboro wrap? It's really, really nice. And the red window tints are extremely like Need for Speed Underground again, back in time, sort of the early 2000s, but very cool again. It's possible best in show. What do we think of this Fiat 500? There's a lot going on here. I mean, obviously all of the different LED setups. There are hearts crushed right into the headlight casings there. Look at the turn signals, even those are hearts, which is pretty ridiculous. Okay, wow, the roof has been completely taken out and has a sort of psychedelic wrap on it. There's hearts all over the dashboard, like Laser Quest or Laser Tag looking floor mats. That's pretty wild. But the most interesting thing I noticed on this, aside from the matte pink wrap and the pearlescence, the heart-shaped exhaust. That is something else, guys. Wow, good job to that Fiat 500. That's pretty crazy looking. That's a nice E46 as well. Okay, actually back to the interesting builds here on the BBSs. Does look pretty darn good. Slammed FRS back there. Wow, that is super wide. And that RS Racing exhaust is basically scraping on the ground. You have no margin for error there. But it does look interesting. It's pretty aggressive. Speaking of aggressive, okay, it is an R32. This one has been, there's so much been done to it. It's almost hard to tell if it's an R32 or a 33 at this point, but it is an R32. Hold the phone here, guys. Oh, all right. I've seen some pretty interesting Civics here already, but this one is, once again, the Lamborghini doors. Pretty crazy looking. Look at the floor mats back here. They're like pink, like, I don't even know, what, tinfoil maybe? I'm not even sure. Got the Dragon Ball Z shifter in there. There's a lot going on, as again, there's just absolutely no shortage of, I guess you call it creativity going on at this event. The pink NOS tank in the back. Again, we have an 86 here with, once again, Lamborghini doors on it. Seems to be a common theme here right now. So we keep trucking through the show floor here at Importfest. Great looking S2000. This is either the Amuse S2000 GT1 or the Jay's Racing Kit. I cannot, or I kind of forget how to differentiate between the two. They're both extremely aggressive wide bodies though, and obviously go for more of a track focused look. Well, the wing is Jay's Racing, so I'll stick to the fact that this is a Jay's Racing Kit, but obviously the Brid, Lomax, the red seats look really good, especially contrasting the white. It's a great looking build. I absolutely love that aggressive styling on these S2000s. But have a look at this Supra, because I saw this earlier and I want to point it out to you guys because there's a lot of custom work going on with this car. It's so much more than just a standard track build. Honestly, the rear wing sort of looks like the Silhouette GT Evo kit for the Aventador. You see he's got all these tiny little slits on the back that I would imagine are for aerodynamics as well. But even the carbon fiber roof here, you can see the tops have been lifted up. That's pretty damn interesting. If it generates more downforce, then why not? But even the rear wing back here has a little tiny shark fin connected to the rear window. And look at the back here, this carbon fiber diffuser. I did not see this earlier, but that is pretty ridiculous looking. So obviously this is a whole other world compared to the Mark IV Supras that you've seen. The Mark V here is way crazier and a much more insane build. Wow. That's all I really have to say about that, guys. That is a lot of custom work and a lot of time and effort has been put into this car. The full Sheepy Race Huracan Performante. I don't know if we've seen this car around before. We might have, to be honest. It's hard to keep track of all the cars we see here on the channel, but if you guys are familiar with Sheepy Race, they're just absolutely ballistic twin turbo kits, and they're so big that you basically have to cut your whole rear bumper off, and that's, I believe, what's happened here. I don't know if he's able to put it back on when he drives out onto the street. We'll have to see that for the rollout. But it's really, really cool to see all of the parts exposed here. You can see how much work they've done to the exhaust too. And just the intakes back here alone are absolutely ballistic looking. That is so damn cool. And the rear tires are almost completely slick, which is just absolutely ludicrous. So obviously it's got to be putting out well over 1,000 horsepower, you imagine. Okay, this might be the craziest car here. This is a C4 Corvette that basically has a cyberpunk wide body on it. That's the best way I can put it. Even down to these lights at the front, which are pretty darn cool. But obviously it's on air ride because it's literally on the ground. You cannot fit a piece of paper under that splitter. But the green pearlescent paint is quite interesting. When you go around to the side, I mean, look at even the engine bay is absolutely ludicrous. I love the retro wave styling under the hood, which is pretty cool looking. The forged carbon fiber side mirrors, all the touches go all through the car. Nothing has been unmodified or left unmodified on this car. You can see the air ride back there with the big subwoofers. that is pretty interesting to see. And a forged carbon fiber rear wing too. But now you guys can see the fitment on this car and just how wide it is too, and how far it sticks out from the standard bodywork. And those wheels are absolutely tucked in there. And hopefully you guys can hear okay, because it's incredibly loud back here. But just another look at the inside. I didn't even notice before, but there is absolutely no dash on this thing. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say that it's not road legal, because I don't know how you could drive without a dashboard or gauges or anything like that, no speedometer. But have a look at it from the back angle. That is absolutely incredible. I mean, these are the kinds of crazy builds you want to see at these shows. Guys just go over the top. Got the Cyber Evo here. I'm not sure if it's a 5 or a 6. It's kind of hard to tell, but with all the modifications on it, but it looks absolutely lovely. Just love the front splitter, the canards, everything. The engine bay is extremely clean, and everything under there is meticulous. Have a look at that, guys. Just so good looking. The wrap on it is really nice too. I just want to point that out. Cyber Evo. That's really, really cool to see. Quick release steering wheel. Obviously, we got this massive rear wing that is almost as tall as me sticking out of the back. See if I can get a back angle for you guys. Again, the crowds are pretty wild, so we're doing the best we can here, but trying to get everything we possibly can as the awards are wrapping up and the crowds are starting to clear, so we can sort of see what is behind all the people here and see what other builds you can find. More heart-shaped exhaust, guys, this time on a Yaris. And we've got the double exits and the titanium burnt finish. Oh my goodness. Shouts out to all the hard exhausts out there, guys. Wow. There is something you do not see at every single import show. A slammed Rolls Royce. I'm not sure if this is the corners or maybe an old Phantom. It's kind of hard to guess or to tell with these older models. But the fact of the matter is, it's a dumped Rolls Royce. And the fact that this guy was not afraid to do something like that on such a prestigious car is pretty damn cool. And the spec, the green over the sort of, we'll call it like terracotta interior, is extremely nice. My goodness, that is such a cool build to see. Again, not too much done to it, but just the fact that you slam a Rolls Royce, you definitely deserve to be at a show like this. And there's a crazy looking M4 over here I want to check out as well. So this isn't, I believe, a standard M4 GT4 and M4 GT3 or anything like that. This looks like a full custom build, and obviously he's gone for more of like a time attack look with this. You can see the massive swan neck wing that, again, is almost as tall as me. There's some pretty big wings here. The back is all cut up for that massive rear diffuser. Obviously the interior is completely gutted out, and yeah, this is a full-on race car, guys. This is no longer street legal. Obviously, I'd be very impressed if this guy was able to get it plated for the road, especially in Ontario with all their rules and everything. And just have a look at the front too. As I was mentioning with the crazy arrow, the front splitter is absolutely massive. I'm not even sure. I think these are just custom pieces of small little metal that have been bolted straight onto the front bumper that's holding the splitter in place. So that is pretty nuts. And the side exit exhaust too. Nothing has been untouched with this car, which is pretty damn interesting. And obviously we see some much more tamed M cars behind it that are not as crazy and don't go for the full time attack build. But I gotta say, this M4 is honestly really nice. There's not too much done to it, but what he has done to it is extremely nice. And I think the color is really playing a big factor in that too. It's almost like blue to black fade, but it looks really, really nice, especially on white wheels. I'm always gonna be a sucker for white wheels, guys. I think those look so damn good. Broken hearts, guys. I don't know what to say. Look at the lights, the custom lights. And look at this for the air ride as well. The broken hearts customized. Like, I don't know how much work, how much time and effort goes into doing something like that, but you do you, man. That's what you want. That's what you want. We've got a Honda CRX here. I always love seeing those. I told you guys when we were at the Time Attack event and we saw that modified CRX, how much I love these cars and love seeing them. Again, because you just hardly see them around anymore, but just a lightweight, tiny little car with VTEC that is so easy to boost and so easy to tune is always going to be a good pick. And that one's done really nice. Willwood brakes on there too. Got the Rocket Bunny FRS back here. We've got a slammed Lexus. Looks like we do have a Crown Athlete wagon too. Damn, that is so sick. And it looks like it's gone for the full VIP as well, with the curtains on the side of the windows there. And just these massive dish wheels too. I think it might be, no, it's not Lorenz there. I'm not even sure. Carlson wheels. That's what we're looking at there. Wow, that is pretty damn cool, I gotta say. Look at the samurai sword for the gear shifter. That is so crazy looking. Oh man, there's just no shortage of interesting stuff here. We've got the Audi TT on the Porsche wheels. I'm not really sure if it's 997 or 996. It might be the 997.1 to be honest, or like the later years of the 996 they had those wheels. Porsche brakes on the back too. full carbon fiber engine bay, which is pretty damn nuts. And I don't really see too many of these first gen Audi TTs modified ever, so that's kind of nice. It's always cool to see something different. Speaking of which, we've got a Hummer H1 on 4G autos, I believe that is 4G or fuel wheels, not 100% sure, but that is pretty damn wild looking. Got a modified Willys here too. Look at this thing. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow, so full custom interior, which is pretty damn interesting. And have a look under the hood here. Oh damn, wow, look at that. Inline 6 24 valve. Look at the focus here, guys. Wow, forged carbon fiber wide body. Now, whether it's real forged carbon or not, I'm not really sure, but the look is pretty damn interesting. It looks like it's got like green confetti mixed into it too to match the car, which is pretty interesting to say the least. That's something I've never really seen before. Blue Brembo brakes to contrast a green car. That is very bold, my friend. But again, I appreciate being different. That's what this show is all about. Look at these slammed Volkswagen Cabrio here. My goodness. Have a look at that. That's pretty damn nice, actually. I think these are work equips he's got on it. Nope, never mind. That is image wheels. Okay, interesting. Wow. Again, this things I don't really see or not really used to seeing here at this show, which is always very, very good. We've got these slammed Pandem E92 there. What do we have here? Subi. We've got a Miata. I don't think we've looked at any Miatas really yet, so this one's pretty understated, I gotta say, but he did win an award. I think this is the baddest Miata, and no, I stand corrected, that is not understated. We've got the Nissan engine swap in there. My goodness, damn, that is pretty damn crazy. Obviously you can see the massive turbo in there too, so can only imagine this is putting out a ton of power. That is really, really cool. Jeez, hold on a second, guys. Look at the back of this Evo. Oh my goodness, look at the big NX nitrous tank back there. Red carbon fiber and all red Recaros everywhere you see. There's screens inside the door with the speakers. That is a very, very early Fast and Furious style modification, I gotta say. Pretty damn interesting there. Okay guys, we're all done with the walkthrough of the show, and we're gonna head outside for the rollout now. Because there's so much to cover here, so much with the walkthrough of the show and the rollout in itself. I think there's gonna be two separate videos. I haven't decided yet. So whether you see this at the end of the walkthrough video or it's just in the middle of one main video is yet to be seen. But either way, the rollout is next. So if it's a second separate video, I'll see you basically a day later in that one. And if it's not, well, then we're gonna head straight to the rollout. But I'm thinking it's gonna be two separate videos. So thank you so much for checking out the walkthrough of Importfest and seeing everything we could, because there's obviously crowds. It's a lot to see, it's a lot to take in. It's hard to get close to everything, but we saw everything we could. Now we're gonna see everything up close in the rollout, making a ton of noise and causing a huge scene, lots of crowds. It's gonna be a blast, guys. See you for the rollout.